I'm actually really stoked that there's a G36 one.
I'm surprised there was a G36 mag.
And they
Or
also
drum
make one
mag.
for the. They also have one for the
You're just
416.
stoked because there's something that's like nice about a G36. It's okay.
You know what,
It's
man?
cool.
And that's when the show starts.
Yeah, it's okay, Mac. Your opinion is so based.
Welcome back to another episode.
Way to start off the show. Way to start off the show with just throwing the chair in there, you know?
Throwing shade. Okay, all right.
Yeah, we start off the show by bashing the G36 platform. It's actually not a bad platform, okay? I just kind of mock it because it's like, you know, it's kind of ironic too because like I mock it for the fact that it's like an AR, like, or like, you know, just like it's like a primary weapon platform, but it's like mostly plastic. It looks plastic.
It looks futuristic. It matches well with the P90.
It doesn't. Yes, you know what? I love the P90. So not for only looks, or actually not true. Stargate.
Yeah, I was just gonna say you Stargate fanboy.
Hey.
Yeah, but
Ghost in a Shell for me.
Funny. Yeah. Oh yeah.
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 I don't even know where I was going with that. So hey, welcome back.
Yep. Welcome back. This is us. COVID times. Yet again, we are here at home. I don't know how you guys doing with these, you know, new restrictions or lockdowns yet again.
Well, work's definitely getting tough. I am still currently working. But,
same here.
Obviously, everyone is doing the best they can, taking all their safety precautions that they can and stuff like that. Especially with us at workplace, we've got, you know, like me being a carpenter, it is hard to socially distance, so everyone is required to wear all the personal protective equipment at all times and stuff. And you know, it does make things difficult and it makes things slower. But you know, as long as everyone can keep working and everyone's doing it safely, then you know, exactly.
Yeah. How about you, Tack? How you doing there? Still hanging in there?
Just hanging in there, you know, just doing what I'm trying to do on the daily, just so that I can get back to work. But other than that, you know.
How's recovery going, by the way? Is it going well? So?
It's going slow.
Yeah.
Slow. COVID sucks. It's slowing everything down, and then this rise and everything. It's just like, okay, we'll close everything down again. So.
Yep.
I'll just do my whole recovery process over Zoom.
I'm sure all our listeners and viewers are having the same issue as well. So.
Yeah. Well, everyone's had to make huge adjustments in life. Like you know, I mean, definitely COVID has yeah, it's screwed a lot of things up.
Yep. Do we have any updates from our last podcast? It was a Q&A session. I think we were just looking to take a break from the regular norm. It was nice. We took a little bit of a break. Do apologize, guys. We do have lives that we gotta deal with, you know. And
we have lives?
Well, I do.
No,
I do.
No, that explains why you're not in the Tarkov channel anymore.
Ooh.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh, I'm sorry.
Like, I can't come scab with you guys right now.
It's like new update comes out, Poison nowhere to be seen.
Well, you know, there's also a girl that I gotta take care of, so there's that too.
You know what? That's right.
Lexon.
What?
Got, yeah.
And yeah. So with that, it was a fun episode. I like to just, you know, go in there unscripted. Yeah, it's just fun, just like, you know, being honest with ourselves and looking back at what we've done, which is so far pretty good. So I don't want to sort of go back into that, but yeah, no, I don't know about you guys, but that was fun.
Yeah, it was a nice little like change of pace and stuff like that, and it was cool to like interact with some of the people at the field and everything like that too after the fact, it was cool. So I can't wait for the next one. We'll get there eventually, and for now, oh boy, you wanted to just kind of like go over like everything that's going on with
yes,
the big elephant in the room too.
So for I'm sure
the elephant in the room,
like. Well, for us,
the COVID restrictions that are coming up. So
Yeah.
the stance on the field right now is we are open. Yes, we have an opportunity to be open because we are outdoors, and the only thing that we ask our customers is, to observe proper social distancing. Again, don't screw it up for everybody. We are open because we are an outdoor park. We are not indoor. And if you are sick, please stay at home. That's all we ask for. And we do have checkups, and with the measures in place that we have, a proper social distancing, no touching stuff, and as well as make sure you fill out your waivers, because that is part of our contact tracing. All right, that's all we ask for our customers that come in, and if you're sick, stay home. Don't screw it up for everybody. I think that is pretty much it for our COVID restrictions right there. Understand that society is moving pretty fast with all of these things, so do your best to do your part. I think that's pretty much
definitely going by day basis. Just take care of your guys selves. And respect the guidelines.
Yep. Other than that, Remembrance Day was a week ago. So
yeah, I'm not gonna lie. This year it felt a little weird.
It was hard.
Like like with everything. Just for me personally, anyway, it felt really weird. There wasn't that build up like we normally do have and stuff like that. Unfortunately, I didn't see a lot of the the poppy funds.
Yeah. There was an online.
Like
there was an online one, but I don't
yeah,
think it was a pop. Like it didn't go that well. So,
Well, you didn't see the cadets out.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I saw like, other
I mean, but
groups
you can't,
out,
right?
but
Exactly.
I didn't see any of the cadets
Oh,
out
did
you?
this year. Yeah. There was a couple people in their place this time around, which I thought was just a little weird. Just because for me, I'm so used to seeing like the air cadets or the army cadets and stuff like that.
Yep.
Doing that, and I always thought that like that's their thing, sort of. But
Yeah. No, for me, every year, I go with my scout group to the Centap, and we do like the small little parade. But yeah, this year there was none of that, and none of the groups wanted to go out there and risk exposing the children out there. So I mean, it's good for them, but for the veterans out there.
On the positive side, we were able to observe it from a distance and stuff like that. Like I watched the ceremony, at least locally here, over to the news and whatnot. So that was
Yeah, I watched it live on my phone.
Yeah. All right. Well, there's another instance of something ruined by COVID.
Yeah, the times are changing.
Yep. All right.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on. Another update at the field is I know I haven't been at the field in a while due to this COVID restrictions, but you guys want to explain the windstorms that are happening at the field? What's going on the weekends? I know I saw it on the weekday where it was super windy out here in the lower mainland, but like over at the field, how's it like out there?
Okay, well, so just one of the big things that's like obvious to everyone and stuff like that is like the windstorms have definitely like been crazy the last few weeks if everyone's taken a part of that or at least witnessed outside. So like like we being a giant force, there's like obviously going to be some like deadfall or anything like that has fallen or anything, and so for anything that is fallen, then we do try our best to kind of like mitigate any hazards that it might create. But another thing too is that there are so many trees, so if people like witness anything or see anything that does look a little sketchy or anything, please bring it up. Like, please bring it up. Do not like just like that tree looks like really awkward at that angle, like it's fine, like like if it's bugging you, bring it up.
Okay, so not much in terms of a storm happening on a weekend. I thought that's what you guys meant, but in terms of stuff that's fallen over, that's what you're talking about.
Yeah, you're gonna have your usual dead branches and stuff like that falling down and whatnot. And like Mac was saying, just be mindful. We try and take take a walk out and everything like that, but the field is quite large, so we can't have our eyes on everything at all times, kind of thing. So we'll miss a couple things here and there, but if you notice like a branch hanging somewhere where it shouldn't be, let us know. We can get our groundskeeper guy to come out, whack it down.
Mhm.
Wait, who is our groundskeeper guy?
I think his name
Big
is
boy
Willie.
with a chainsaw.
Oh yeah, Gord. Gord.
Gord. Gord
Groundskeeper
with the
Gord.
Gord
chainsaw.
loves to use that chainsaw.
All right.
Mm.
All right. Well, make sure when you're out there, guys, thank Gord for all his work for taking out all the trees there and also stoking the fire. All right. Well, let's move on here. So our topic for today, Mr. Tack, you presented us with a nice topic here. I'm guessing this
Airsoft
is
magazines.
your show. Go for
Oh,
it.
is it? Oh, my show? Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the
Look at
topic
me.
today
Look at
is-
me. I am the captain. Go for it. Go for it.
Okay, well, so the topic today is going to be what airsoft magazine do you prefer to use most often, and why? Considering all three of us here have had at least experience with it. I'm gonna say at least three out of the was it five categories that I've placed here.
Okay.
What I'd like for us to do, I guess, is just go through the list individually, and then at the very end, kind of go through the sort of
So
questions.
what are your categories? Just to explain it at the very beginning here. What are the categories you're looking at here?
So the categories we're going to be going through are low cap magazines, mid cap magazines, high cap mags, drum mags, box mags, and finally DIY mags. Now that might sound a little weird to some people, but yeah, DIY mags out there.
So you want us to rip apart all of these mags and show us your favorites, I guess. All right. I like this. Let's do it. Let's do it. All right. I like this. Take the lead.
So I guess we'll start off with just the low cap magazines.
Yeah, explain. You should
Well,
definitely
what
make
is
it
what
up.
is a low cap magazine?
What makes a low
Well,
cap?
so that's exactly what I was kind of gonna get to here. So it's like, in your guys' opinion, what makes a low cap? I guess, for me personally, it would be anything from 40 rounds and under. Like, obviously 30 rounds is like the most common one that I see, just because it's supposed to simulate the real life, magazine capacity
Well,
counterpart.
you say you can use another name with those, right? Yeah, I think like for me, I've always just referred to those as like real sim mags,
Real
right?
caps is what they call them sometimes.
Real
But-
caps, real sim mags, like
Or gas
Mm,
blowback magazines.
I don't know. I don't know if I would call that.
I was like, I
Yeah.
knew this is coming from Poi. He's gonna be like, good gas, goodbye.
Well, Poy's not wrong. Technically, gas mags are low caps.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, no, that's a
Yeah,
given.
They're real.
Yeah.
They're real caps. Yeah, exactly.
Right, and essentially there isn't really, but like we can get into that later. But just yeah. So from your guys's, so I guess Mac, you're saying that you would call a low cap, or you would define a low cap as something that represent or is similar to a real steel counterpart. Then.
Well, I guess for me, I would differentiate the word too. Like, I mean, for a real cap, I would definitely be because there are those mags that are only like 80 rounds or 90 rounds or something like that, right?
I would
And
still consider that like I wouldn't consider that a low cap.
No, I would still consider that a mid cap. A low cap,
Yeah.
for me, personally, is if you're going to go low cap, that means you're 1-to-1 matching the ammunition count of its real steel counterpart.
Mhm.
That's what I would
yeah,
claim it
so
as, yeah.
then it's just semantics for all of us there, yeah. Because exactly
Yeah.
for me, I mean, I'm labeling those like 30 rounders as like real caps. Like those ones are like real sim mags to me. You're simulating a real magazine, like none of this like 250 round high capacity EPM one.
No, actually, the EPM ones, you could change from mid to low cap. Isn't that right?
That's
For
the
some of them, right?
ERG.
Oh, the
That's
ERG?
the- yeah,
There
this is-
there are ones that you could change it from one or the
Mhm.
other. It
Yeah.
just
Yeah,
puts
you
a little
can,
stop on it. Right? It's just like
Mm.
putting a
The PPS
Canadian.
mag.
It's like putting a Canadian what do you call it, pin
So,
on a magazine.
The 5-round pin.
Yeah.
So just to stay on the low cap topic here,
Yep.
can you guys use these mags in events? Like, are these like, would you guys use a low cap? Is, I guess, the main
If the
question.
event restricts it to low cap
Require.
or
Mhm.
requires it, then yes,
Mhm.
I would. Would I purchase low caps?
Mhm.
That's kind of an iffy one. Unless I have those
Okay.
hybrid ones, then yes, I would.
Right. So now my next question for that is,
Oh,
are,
I
are
don't even get to answer the question. Like, what am I?
what do you what do you mean? You already
You're just like
you
steamrolling over him here.
yeah,
Like,
you answered
like,
earlier.
whatever. I was just saying, like, I have used them and I've bought them. I'm just saying.
Do you have
Mhm.
them? Do you have them?
event.
Yeah. Do you still have
Yeah.
them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you still use them?
I mean, they sit in the bag, and if I need that extra 15th magazine, I'll grab
So
them.
the answer is no. You don't use them.
Where, like,
So hold on.
I
What
can have 14.
what events have popped up in recent years that use low caps? Like I haven't
many.
heard.
Oh.
I haven't heard any, to be
Yeah,
honest.
I
not
didn't
many.
even.
I feel like it's a hard requirement to sort of I guess
Manage?
well, I guess impose in
Enforce?
a sense. It's not enforce, but I think impose, because
Regulate?
essentially you have people who, like, typically might carry, let's say, between 8 to 14 mags, right? 'Cause some people might carry more, some people might carry less, but I'm just saying, like, that it goes and fluctuates between that number, right? So for guys who have those mags already to want to have to go to like a low cap event, I guess they would have to then buy that many magazines as well, or even more, depending on how insecure they might feel.
Hold on, Tack. You played Tarkov. Just speed loader, go to the corner, and just fill your mags, right?
Is that actually what you have to do in Tarkov?
No, it's not speed loader.
You
You
have to load
you
your
throw
magazine?
the BBs in your hand. And you're sitting there one by
One
one.
by
You
one.
just like
Right,
mad.
because you're
You're hand
speeding
loading. You're
so
hand loading it.
little, it's not high
No,
enough, so you're dropping everything.
if your
Now
reload
I
speed is
know.
fast enough, you could load
Yeah,
that thing fast.
Yo,
exactly.
Boy,
Sorry,
now I know
we're
the
getting
next
off topic
curveball.
there.
No, that's the next curveball to the next TTT right there.
Hand
loading?
load,
I will
hand
give
loading.
I will give you guns. Yes, there's guns all over the place. but who
Honestly,
has
we've done that
these?
before, where you have to buy ammo, but that's a different topic.
Okay. So,
So
yeah, so
Handle.
now low caps
yeah.
for AEGs are a thing, but
Mhm.
in
Are
GBB
they
world,
popular?
in the GBB
the
world,
only-
it is the only thing that we can use. Now,
Yeah.
I know no one's used low caps for events, but in my gas blowback events, it's different. You have to use low caps anyway.
Yeah, well, exactly.
So
Would you-
the dynamic changes because everybody has it. Like the pistols,
Mhm.
the AR mags, they're all real caps regardless. So having run events like that, it like the game, like I know it's going a little bit off topic from magazines, but the gameplay changes overall. It's much more slower paced.
100%.
Your heart races because you now have 10 rounds left or something like that on your mag, and you know that the other dude is low on rounds as well. You either charge him or you fight on in a distance, right? And
Definitely
it
adds
definitely changes the perspective on your game because of the fact that you're using real magazine counts or real round counts basically, and you're basically counting their shots as well. You're listening to their reloads. If it's much more slower because you're using gas, you're not drilling someone with 80 rounds, right? If you get what I mean. Right?
HPA guy.
Yeah. So it changes the dynamic, and that's one event where I could see it works really well because of the fact that we are forced to use it. I don't know what else to say about low caps. I mean, I've never used low caps on AEGs.
Mhm.
The only
Well,
time I use low caps is probably like when I didn't fill my mags properly. That's probably it.
Do you guys think that there's a practical use for low caps nowadays? I guess with how sort of the AEG platforms have kind of progressed and stuff like that. And by
Yes.
that I say I'm mentioning that in the sense that you now have guns push in higher RPS and whatnot, right? So when you have these guns shooting, let's say up to 28, 30 RPS and whatnot, so you're essentially dumping that entire mag in a second. So
I mean,
the
it
practical use
it
behind
would be
using the low
cool.
cap, right, in some of the high performance guns, I feel like is kind of lost. I feel like you would still get more out of it in like some of the slower rate guns, like the 15, 18, 19 RPS kind of guns, just because like you're not gonna sit there and you dump the whole
Are
mag
you
in a
talking
second.
about handicapping someone to 30 rounds with if they have like a really good tuned gun?
No, I'm saying that it might not even work, like or like
What?
uh
Here's a question:
it'll
would
just
it
run like
change?
water, right?
Here's a question: would it change the gameplay if you have really tuned guns? You got good grouping on it. You got high rate of fire. Would it change if you have 30 rounds on the get go? Would their dynamic change rather than
Well,
dumping 30
the
rounds at
mindset of
someone?
it would.
Yeah, would it
Yeah,
change?
definitely the mindset of it would, but what I'm sort of trying to focus on is the fact that like a lot of people tend to hit that fun switch, right? And so with the fact that you have the 30 rounds, you touch that fun switch, you're done that mag just like that, right? While with like some of the other mags down the list here, you can sit there, you can be like bursting with full auto, sending 50, 60 rounds down at a time just because you have that ammo capacity, right? So I feel like it would definitely change the dynamic on how people would play um,
I don't
just
know.
based off that.
Like Mac, what about you? Like, how do you feel if you have an HPA and you got limited to just 30 rounds?
Yeah, no, not a problem. Okay, so like for me in my real world situation when I did that, so I brought real caps to Milsom West twice. Um, I just have like was it like they're like ICS brand or something like that. They're like 30 round ICS mags, and I think I have like 4 or 5 of them, or I had. I think I have like a couple. I lost a couple, I know, but I have a few left. But main point being is I brought them each time, being that I knew when I went to those specific events that the ammo restrictions were there. So, and then one of the interesting things too about Milsom West is that you can scavenge dead bodies when you or enemy players when you have killed them, right?
Yeah, for ammo. Yeah.
With consent, right? And but you can only take ammo that's not in a magazine,
Yep.
right? So
Yep.
you had to find it in a speed loader, or you had to find it in or what in the bag or whatever, right? But what I would do is I would just have like extra magazines on me, right? And or I would just make sure that I could like and that's the thing though, right? With like so you get issued like 500 rounds and like props to the Milsom West cadre because I'm pretty goddamn sure they spend the night before just like counting out BBs, like literally like here's
They do.
500.
They do.
Like
They do.
yeah, like, like here's these little like treat this with your lives, like you guys waste so much ammo, like and they give you 500 rounds because that's like what you're issued at. That's your combat like like load, right, for the first bit, and then like an airsoft player grabs their speed loader, throws it in, and they like fill up like one high or one and a half like mid caps, right?
Yep.
So for me, what I did was the first year I ever went down, I had predominantly low caps and I had only a couple of mid caps, so I actually just filled up all of my low caps because then I could just like feel like I had more ammo. And then the second year I had mostly mid caps and I had the low caps as a backup just to make sure I could like keep my ammo safe. So I have unfortunately a couple of times when I'm playing in skirmish games at the field and stuff like that, mistakenly grabbed low caps and like filled them up and then like had them in there, and then all of a sudden like Tax says, you flip to the fun switch and like my gun is only set at like my
20.
HPA gun is only what? No, it's at like 15 right now.
Oh, you
So
dropped it. Okay.
so you're
No,
gone
well,
within
yeah,
like 2 seconds.
Well, exactly, right? So I mean, like that's the thing with like like you know, and just like in real steel, like if you were to be shooting, and that's one of the things that I dropped down my RPS for as well. Is just I don't need to be shooting like like 30, 40 rounds per second. I don't like it looks like a laser enough. Okay, guys, like let's not get into this.
So your mindset changes overall when you're using low caps.
100%.
I think
Yeah,
it's fun because I'm so used to using gas blowback that for me it's essential for me to train with the ammo that I have. Also,
you're always conscious about it.
Also,
Exactly.
hopes and dreams with gas blowback is like it's gone. Boop, boop, oh!
It just makes me
Yo,
laugh.
Fuck, stop shooting me.
It just makes me laugh because Poi talks as if he's playing with a gas blowback right now in the wintertime.
Shut up. Hey, 30 seconds, in between shots. I think we're good, right?
Yeah.
All right. Well,
okay, so I think we've gone enough on the low caps there. Obviously it's not a very in-depth category specifically. It's more like
is that where they started though?
I would say so.
Remember from Julian's interview that we had. That's where you started from back then. Is real caps or low caps. Like, that's what he said. Like 15 to 20 years ago. That's how it started. So that's how it started. There you go.
With the really crappy ballpoint pen springs. Okay, so then next down the list, mid caps. So what makes a mid cap, guys? We'll start with Mac. What's your opinion on that?
I classified anything as a mid cap as like anything above like 100 rounds.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with 92 or 140.
Like, sorry, because we were talking about capacity, right? Or like what classifies it. It's for a mid cap to me.
Yeah.
It's just like it's a spring-fed magazine that doesn't require me to like have to spin a reservoir wheel, if you will, or to pull a flash mag,
I hate those, by the way.
Anything flash mags?
Yeah.
I always feel like I'm gonna break it.
Yeah.
Oh my god. I've had to use
they were pretty popular 10 years ago. I guess they still are for the people that still have them, but I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan of opening the bottom and then winding that thing 3 times and then close it up again. I don't know. It's just me.
I just feel like under the pressure of fictitious combat that is airsoft, I feel like I would rip it off.
Mac panic.
Panic. Ah!
Like there goes my mag. Reload, and then you just do it again. You're like, reload what? You have a high cap.
I'm in the same boat with the Mac as well in terms of mid caps. Anything above 90 rounds is usually a mid cap for me, and as well as you don't have to wind a wheel, you don't have to pull a string, you don't have to do anything. It's just spring loaded, and it just feeds it all the way to the mag, and it has to feed all the way through. I've had some mags that feed all the way, and then the last 10 rounds they're not feeding anymore. Again, it's probably just old mags that I have with old springs, but that's how it is usually for mid caps. I think everybody has it at this point, honestly.
Okay. So I guess for myself, I would consider it anything above 60 rounds, just because because I know you guys specifically. Just listening to your guys' answers, it sounds like you guys are focusing a lot on the M4 sort of platform, and you have to realize too, just with the last couple of years, a lot of the 9mm platforms have been coming out. So using just an easy example like the G&G ARP and stuff like that. I can't remember the TK Ronin's mag capacity off the top of my head.
45, I think. Yeah.
So yeah, exactly.
What?
So it's a mid cap, but hey, it's 45 rounds, which is like really nothing.
The TK-45's magazine is 45.
Have you seen how tiny those mags are? It's like a stick mag.
Get out. Trash. That's almost as bad as the Crytek.
Well, no, the Crytek's not bad.
The Vector, sorry.
The Vector?
Wait, what?
Yeah.
But the Crytek Vector's not that bad. I think it's a 120 round mid cap. or something, or maybe a 90 round. I know that when you get into the 9 mil
I know it's
platforms,
not
their
that.
mid caps are around 90 rounds, and again, that's really nothing, to be honest with you. And then when you get into like M4s, I think the lowest ones I've seen mid cap wise are like, at least the ones I know of are like the G&G ones. They start at 79 rounds, I think, for their spring fed mid cap. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and then not just getting into AEGs and stuff like that, but you have GBB mid caps per se, right? Like I know,
What? Get out.
um, uh,
Poi has left the
yeah,
chat.
Poi has left the chat. Yeah, well, it's like some of those dual mags that I've seen where it's got like the
Okay.
fake
Yeah.
bullets
Yeah.
on the side and stuff like that. So it's got a bigger gas reservoir, lets you shoot like 80 rounds or something like
Yep.
that.
I actually
Um,
have one, so I know what you're talking about. They're
yeah, and
He's guilty. Oh my god. Wait, hey, do they make 45ers? Because I mean that is a real steal, right? They do. They come in 30 and 45.
just a longer
honestly,
Okay.
mag.
well,
Yeah.
honestly, I have
Well,
seen them,
I know M4. Yeah,
but
yeah, right. Like,
I have not had one in front of
I,
me.
I've never had one.
So yeah, but I have
it's like,
seen them like I've seen the picture of them online and stuff like that with what you're saying where it comes out and then it's got like the thicker mag base and stuff like that. So they're probably out there. I haven't bought one just because those are really expensive and they're not something I'm interested in testing out.
Dude, you got to bring it to labs. Let's go.
Yeah, it's
let's
expensive.
go.
Yeah, so
Will it airsoft?
will it airsoft?
Will
Yeah,
it
or
airsoft?
we'll just send it to Alphonse. Get him to do some underwater testing.
Bro, we have a river that runs through our property.
Hey,
Okay?
hey,
We're not
hey!
allowed to
We're
test
not
in that.
allowed to test stuff in there, okay?
That's a
Remember?
spawning hatch.
Okay, sorry.
Yeah.
I forgot. Yeah, all right. I'm just
Spawning
saying it's winter. Oh wait, yeah,
No.
it just.
Okay, so why are mid caps the most popular version of the magazines?
From my experience, like having 90 to 140 rounds on your magazine is great because having used AEGs, you're gonna go through that ammunition pretty quick.
Hmm.
Flipping the fun switch, shooting for a couple of seconds, you're already down a quarter, like used, right? And then doing it a
Yeah.
couple of times, you're gonna go through halfway. So from a GBBR's perspective, when we flip on the fun switch, our rate of fire is not that fast, right? So firing a burst of 5 rounds, or 8, you're already down like 45% of your mag capacity, not 45, like 35% of your mag capacity right there.
Hmm.
So, I could understand in mid cap terms, if you're going through 30 rounds on full auto, then you're still up, like a 1/3 of your mag there still. So with that, like it's popular because you don't have to use the wheel
Hmm.
as a high cap. You don't have to do anything to the map. You just plop it in, let the spring do the work. I think that's why it's so popular. I don't know what else to say about it, but having used mid caps my entire airsoft career, that's pretty much all I love it to do is load it, set it, forget it. That's it.
Okay. Mac, what about yourself? Why do you think
Well,
the mid cap is like the, I guess, most popular sort of mag?
well, I guess taking like more of like an omniscient view on it, like stepping back here and looking at it from like what Poi mentioned too, is like Julian gave us the insight there in the previous podcast, where it's like originally I guess like that's what it came with, right? Like you started with low caps and then eventually like now it's standard that every gun comes with a high cap. Right, and with varying capacity on like whatever that is, but most guns come with a standard high cap magazine that comes with the gun. So for most players, I think a lot of people migrate over to the mid cap because they would like the reload factor. I mean, I know for
Ooh.
me personally,
Yep.
yeah, like well, so for me personally, it's a lot cooler and more fun and more added just the whole like the whole aspect of the game being able to like be trying to take down a target, and then all of a sudden it's like a misfire or it's empty or whatever, you know. And especially in the GBB case, like that's where I absolutely love it too, is just bolt lock, right? And like from there you have to, like, you know, mag swap, whether it's a tactical reload or a speed reload, or, you know, or maybe, you know, you re-index a mag because you don't know what you have left, right? Boy, you lost count, so it's like, okay, I know I have a couple left in this one, but I'm gonna put this one away and get a fresh one in here, right? And
Yeah.
yeah, so like all those varying things, I think that came for the aspect of players being able to carry multiple magazines, because the ability to go over through yeah, the ability to go through like 350 rounds in like one high cap magazine, though it is not impossible, very far from it in one game. It's just like not as like tactically feasible, I guess I would say. So I feel like, yeah, like that's what switched it over. The constant winding of a wheel, the constant pulling of like a flash mag, or you know, winding of a, or, you know, because that's even getting into drum mags too. Like, you know, like I have a lot more fun reloading my gun.
You know,
Like, you know, actually
you
going
mentioned that now. I forgot to mention that too. Yeah, for me, it's all about the reloads. That's why, you know, at home I'll
right, right,
practice,
Mhm.
exactly,
and
yeah.
people are
So
saying like, you know,
so
you
what you're
practice at
saying
home.
is you guys are gonna bring back the low caps.
Ooh, ooh,
You guys
mm.
like reloads, right?
Yeah, no, hey, I'm already using low caps on gas.
Hey,
Okay,
you
now
got me.
bug
My gun's
off.
semi-locked. I'll
Ask
do it.
this
I'll do
guy.
it.
I'll ask this guy.
I'll do it. I'll do it. I'll bring them back out. I'll just play with them.
What
I think I
about
have like three of them left.
what about you,
Well,
Tack? What about
so
you, Tack?
honestly, I think the mid cap platform for mags is just really popular because I guess the reliability factor of it. Like, um, a spring is a lot more mechanically reliable than a gear, in my opinion. So, with the high caps, you know, they work on a lot of the positive pressure and the gears and whatnot. So, a lot of the time, the gears in there are plastic, right? So, you know, not saying that plastic is super soft or anything, but like it can break. While with the spring, not to mind you that springs can break as well, but it's pretty simple. Spring, compress, extend, right?
And
So
it's a one-way system too, because
yeah,
once you use a plunger to push in that spring, there's
yeah,
nothing in terms of like a hopper system to block
exactly.
anything
And
or catch anything. Everything
mhm,
is going one way and it's pushing out, one way.
y- yeah,
It's a lot less mechanically
Yeah.
inclined.
so to me, it's just the reliability factor. I know that recently a lot of brands have started having replacement parts available, so they're really simple to replace. It's just the spring. So if you have the spring wear out and whatnot, and you're not feeding as you did when you had the mag brand new, most of the time you can get a replacement spring. So I find that
Or
a
just buy a new
lot
mag,
nicer. Yeah.
honestly.
Well, well, that's a question actually. I'm gonna ask you guys later, just because that is a important thing as well. When you want to decide, is it worth fixing something or is it worth just buying a new thing? Because that also ties into the factor of um, a lot of airsoft stuff isn't recyclable in that sense, right? So we
Mm,
just
Mm.
junk it. So, not to try and be all woke or anything like that, but being conscious of our waste, right? Is it better for us to get in that mentality of just
so
throwing
what you're
away and
saying is
replacing
2030 G&G is going to be carbon neutral.
it?
I'm sorry, I'm just taking
Who
the
knows?
Apple path there.
He's gonna have like green guns.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So
sorry. Go ahead.
The new G&G green series.
yeah. So and then with staying on the mid caps, I guess do you guys have any like special mentions on anything? Because like for me right now, what sticks off top of my head, mid cap wise, is this last 2 years or the last year with the introduction of the new PTS mag, which is that's another debated topic as well, where it sort of pushes the boundary of the capacity of a mid cap. It pushes it up to the 250 round mark, which is quite a lot actually when you think about it.
Yeah, that's almost a high cap at that point.
Well, even some high caps, like I've seen some really like low end high caps hold only something like 200 rounds or something like that and whatnot. So like, yeah, you're definitely getting into that realm of high capacity, but it's sort of a win in that sense because you're still using the reliability factor of the spring system. So
So let me just
I
pull it
think,
up here. You're talking about the PTS EPM mags, right?
yeah, the APM-1 mag, the new one that has the fuel gauge on it, I believe.
I think it's this one, but I might be wrong. It's EPM enhanced polymer mag. This is probably the Gen 1. And then you're talking about the one that has a little orange follower,
Yeah.
right?
Well, they all have the follower, but this one they now added a secondary follower in the middle of the
Ah,
spring
here it
somewhere.
is. So this is what you're talking about, the EPM enhanced polymer mag 1 EPM 1, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So that is actually I've seen it before. It's actually a really good product. I like the follower system because it does, or the feed indicator. It tells you how much like how much ammo you have left. So that's
Yeah.
pretty cool. You don't see that innovation in products
It's
with
a
a pretty
good
high
rough
price tag
estimate.
too.
Well, so again, that comes down to the factor of because if you want to get into price and stuff like that, I feel like mags are pretty close to the same price, other than when you get into like low caps and stuff like that, where you can get them pretty cheap. But I feel like it then comes down to play style at that point on what you like and if you like sounding like your own mariachi band or not.
Well, tactical maracas is what we called it,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah. So I guess,
That's always the
but,
thing.
but yeah. So with this, I feel like this is the only special mention really when it comes to mid caps, just because it's a brand new product. It's kind of pushing those boundaries and whatnot, and this sort of leads into my next question with the mid caps, which is the can you use these at events, right? So can you use mid caps at events? And I believe we're all going to agree with the answer is yes,
Yep, I agree.
but with the introduction of these new PTS mags, do you feel like that line is getting blurred or pushed, or is there going to be restrictions, do you think? Or do you think people are just going to be like, hey, this is Airsoft, this is just another part of the game, just play on kind of thing?
I mean, when we're talking about high caps, you're not just talking about an M4 mag with the wheel at the bottom. You're also talking about people that have like huge, like mechanical mags that have auto winding systems that feed, right? So with mid caps, I think we're just sticking to the fact that it is non-mechanical. It is just a spring that pushes BBs up.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're talking about a magazine system that has some sort of battery or some sort of like retention, I guess the spring counts as a retention.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
Yeah, 'cause
yeah,
that's where it's like
Yeah.
you're gonna lose
Well,
right
well,
there.
yeah,
because
it's so gray at that point.
yeah. So the gray area I find is that the only time it's going to become an issue is when you have that guy who has 14 of these mags, who replaced the 14 of his old mags, right?
Mhm.
Considering how much ammo capacity he's going to be having on him, he practically has like 2 bags of BBs on him,
Oh
right?
my god.
And,
Well, okay, so
right,
no,
and
so
so
just to
at that
break
and so
break
at that point, right, now you're having him behind a wall and goes through, shoots 250 rounds at you, right? Then reloads, shoots another 250 rounds at you, reloads, right? So like,
that doesn't sound economical.
well, it's not about economical at that point because a person who's going to have that is there to just dump rounds, right? They're not there to be
Well,
economical,
sure, you can sling plastic, but
right?
look, okay, so
So
at
the
that
point,
point, if
that's
in
where the
like
issue is
okay,
going to come
can
into,
I
right?
well, so can I counter your little scenario there, your make believe? Okay, Aladdin, calm down. Okay, follow me. I got you. Okay, um, so if that's the voice faith, if that's the case that's going on right now, all right, then that's up to the event organizers or the event itself to kind of mitigate those things that are happening. So like if they don't want to restrict magazine style, then they can restrict ammo or whatever, right? Like I mean, we've all been to the event. Like Milsom West does a really great job of, you know, making sure that
Well,
you follow the ammo restrictions. But that being said, right, it really, like, I know some people don't follow it, right? And that being said, it just really, you know, adds to the immersion if you do, and it, you know, takes away if you don't. Like airsoft is a pay to play sport. So like, or hobby, right? So like when we went to Crossfire, like if you didn't have the ammo, you didn't have the ammo, and that was it. Like if you bought the ammo, you knew you could play all weekend. If you didn't have the ammo, then it was like, okay, well, you better be mindful of how much you're shooting. Like everybody was shooting full auto constantly at that event.
Even though
Like
they
there
said they
was no.
require mid caps.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like there was no semi. There was no semi in existence. It was
well,
just
and
like you're saying,
but I feel like
14 mags of
that
like
was set up though.
150 round. Like what? No, I know, but that's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
it's like,
So based off of like the variables there, it felt like that scenario was sort of set up to be not saying that Omega didn't think about it or anything like that, but like it sounds like to me it was just set up not to say for failure, but like there was going to be some rough edges around that, right?
dude, it was their first event. Okay. Like, I mean, it went off and
What no
it
no no no
went
I'm
great.
not it's not about our first event. I'm just saying that they've had events before, right? And it's just that like you want
Yeah,
to
but I'm
try to
talking about them running it there.
but how does that pertain to the factor of the mid cap?
Well, I mean, again, like, I don't know. That was a pretty large turnout.
Yeah, but I'm saying that my point is, right, is that with this change, like with the mag, right, it's going to change the attitude and the play style of a certain person. Because I'm saying you're going to have that guy who's going to be behind cover, who doesn't care, ignore the money factor here, right? And he's literally sitting
He's
behind there.
Mr. Deep Pockets. I get it, and he's just gonna
Yeah.
start
So,
mowing people down.
so I'm not like trying to say that. Well, it could cause a problem is what I'm saying. There could be a problem by having that available, like, cause like I don't see a problem by restricting ammo capacity and restricting stuff, other than the fact that you're just making a guy who wants to have his Gucci gun not shoot maximum capacity all the time. You know what I mean? Like when you're like to me, when you're at those events, it's more about like the event, right? It's not about how good your gun can perform. At those kinds of events, I feel like it's how reliable your gun can perform, right? So when it comes down to like so I guess if this mag was available at that Omega event, would you have been happy? Like if you versed a guy who could reload, 14 of these 250 round magazines with BBs that he could supply himself and stuff like that, and just could constantly keep hosing you guys down, like how would you feel about that?
I mean, it's airsoft for me.
I'd be like, I have really shitty teammates.
See, for me, it's I'm not into like the gear hoarding and stuff. I'm more in line with the experience of the event. If you're dealing with that dude who has that much capacity, I morally rely on the team structure and as well as how we deal with him versus the fact that he's got like a real cool looking gun. I mean, for me, it's always been like, yeah, well, my team or my squad can deal with him, no problem. In terms of restricting it, like I'm more inclined with the Milsim West rules, which is basically like everyone gets 500 rounds. That pretty much eliminates, like for him, he's only carrying 2 mags at that point. Cool, whatever. Yeah,
exactly.
I was gonna say, like, hey man, now I don't need to carry 14 mags.
There you go.
I'll do
so
that.
I'm totally cool with that. Like I have no issue with
Exactly.
that.
Yeah, in the Milsom West
But
sense,
that would make
definitely.
me sad though, because I like
So
reloading.
I just want to put this out there. When I ran my gas blowback game, someone people were trying to bend the rules and stuff with tapping the mags and stuff. I'm like, nope, that doesn't work. That's not gas blowback. I mean, it is, but you're tapping. I said no tapping mags. Someone came up. Someone came up and be like, okay, cool. They figured out all the rules, and then they came out with the Armor Works. Like he's got a race pistol. It's got the Armor Works like magazine, and it's got like a little dial in there. And I'm like, oh. So the reservoir is there, right? No line. Reservoir is there, like a huge reservoir. But now he has like a hopper system that he could spin to keep the tension on the spring. And he had, I think, I don't even know,
It's a
like two.
300 round drum mag.
No, I think it's more than that from what I remember. He was shooting a lot more.
What?
No, it should be a 300 round.
Is it 300?
drum mag.
Either
Yeah.
way, you have a pistol that has
Must be.
300 rounds. Now, in a rules perspective, is that fair? He dodged the rule, but at the same time, everyone else is using low cap mags, right? How does that make you feel in a game where he could just unload relentless amount of rounds, and then you know he didn't even have to reload. You know, you had to reload about 4 times just to take him out.
Well,
Right?
Well, I hope he's on my team.
Well, definitely to me, like if there wasn't another person on the other side with a balancing factor of that, I'd be having a little bit of an issue. Like when it came to your gas game specifically, like I would draw the line at like those double extended mags, like the
Yeah.
mid cap mags for the gas ones, just like how on a pistol you can have an extended mag, so you can have instead of the 20 round ones, you can have like the 50 round mags.
Yeah.
And then there you go. There's your increased playability with the gas.
You could
platform,
see
right?
in an event organizer's perspective, you have
Yeah.
to tackle every
Ex-
little
it- exactly.
clause that they are gonna
Yeah, but on
are
a
gonna
skirmish
avoid.
factor, right? Like on a weekend warrior skirmish factor, then the drum mag is a, yeah, it's a nice choice, definitely.
Yeah.
I think okay, well, so with that, I feel like we've kind of gone over pretty well on the mid caps platform here, so we'll move down onto the high caps. So, what makes a high cap, boys?
Renters.
Oh, what did you say? Renters kit?
Okay, from a business perspective, here we go. From a business perspective, it is better for them to start with a high cap. Why? Because they are going to lose mags left, right, and center. Right, as someone new, you're going to reload, you're going to dump that mag, and boof, there goes a mid. There goes a $30 mid cap, right?
But if you talk about price, that's roughly the same price as a mid cap.
Like I fucking do that now.
What?
Oh my god! I should be the guy who plays with a high cap.
Okay.
Where's my man?
Okay. Fun one, right? We were talking about tactical maracas. There are guys out there that carry, 6 high caps on them, and then you can hear them, big guy, tactical
That's
maracas.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, here he comes.
Well, he doesn't care though.
Yeah, let the whole team know where he's, getting up, posts up right beside you. Yo,
We're not-
where are they?
We're not making
Well,
fun of you.
everyone's like-
We're not making fun of you. It's just that I want you on my team because you are the volume of fire.
Yeah, exactly. You're that airsoft Chad. Just lay it down.
Yeah. Yeah. What makes a high cap? It's like it's basically you have a hopper system. That's what it comes down to for me. You have a hopper system and you have a system in place to put tension on it, either like a wheel or flash mag, or even as far as like a mechanical you're talking about, like some sort of gear that is run by a motor, right? To keep BBs feeding into your system, whatever it is. So that's a high cap for me.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
What about yourself? What do you consider?
Basically, the same outline that Poi's saying is like, it's just like a feed system. So like like reminiscent to like I guess like like the paintball days where you had like the gravity hopper, right? But this isn't like it's a mechanical hopper system where you feed a reservoir of BBs into some way, shape, or form into making it be able to shoot, and then for me too, it's like a high cap magazine is, generally for me, it's anything over like, like I think high caps usually start at around like 250, 300, something like that. So
I would say they start
like,
around 200.
Yeah. So like if you've got like 200 round high caps, like, you're filling that mag with that many rounds. And, I'm pretty darn sure that when they're full tension, they got about 30 shots. Right. So it's like,
Oh wait,
you have that.
I just realized the ARP one I think is only 120 still for the high cap.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That's
Yeah,
a
yeah,
really
yeah, if I
small
remember
reservoir
correctly,
then.
yeah. Oh, well,
Yeah.
you're stuck with
Well, it's
9
just
mil.
skinny, right?
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
9 mil.
yeah,
Yeah.
you're stuck with the 9 mil platform, right? So
Mhm. I mean, what's the MP5?
Do they even have
Can't
a
be.
high
they
cap for
do.
It can't be
MP5?
much.
They do have a high
Can't
cap.
be.
I think it's actually 200. I think it's somewhere around 200 actually. Because
Is it?
yeah, because
Okay.
I've seen the VFC ones and it just helps because it has the curve mag as well. So I think
No. Okay. Maybe if they can get some more space in there.
yeah.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah. But yeah, the stick one for the ARP is unfortunate. But yeah, so for me, yeah, it's just high capacity is the name itself is you got a high volume of ammo
Hmm.
and it also comes with a mechanical system. So whether we get into the specifics of it, like Poi's talking to is like, if you're touching on like box mags with their auto winding motors or their sound winding motors because I know box mags have either both varying settings or some of them will have just the one or the other,
Well,
and then you have
yeah, yeah.
or then you got like manual drum mags, right, where you could like wind it like a traditional high cap and stuff like so yeah, it's all over the place, right?
Okay, well, so I guess I'll take what parts of what you guys said, but I just feel what a high cap is just a manually fed hopper system, like kind of like what Poi was saying. Where like with the flash mag, you have to manually pull it, right? You drop
I
the
hate
BBs
that.
in, and they just use tension or whatever gear system they have inside to help feed it and whatnot. So that's what I would say a high cap is when it comes to the volume wise for classification, like we were just saying with the ARP. So I guess it goes as low as 120 all the way up to 350. I think some of the AK long banana mags can hold like 450 rounds, I think it is.
Is that the one that
Oh,
goes all the
really?
way to like the muzzle?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Yeah. So
Weird,
You
weird,
like
weird
banana
flex,
mag.
but okay.
yeah,
So
well,
you like banana, Soviet banana.
yeah, well, so then there are the different kinds of high caps, right? So like, actually, we're just getting into that right now. So like with the ARP and with the Ronin, the Chris Vector has their own version, sort of like, I think they have a high cap, right? The
I
Crytek one,
actually don't know.
or is it only mid caps? I can't
I
remember.
think it's like
I th
I think
I think it
it
is.
comes with mid cap.
I think it. Are you sure it doesn't come with a high cap, just like the other?
I honestly can't tell you. I've only ever shot the gas one, and then the AEG one I've shot with mid caps. Like
Yeah.
even when I played down in the States and I rented it with mid caps because they had the option.
Oh, okay. Well then.
Okay, goodbye. All right, good night. Thanks for everybody coming.
Yeah. So do you guys use iCaps? And if you guys use them,
I
why?
sh-
And if you guys don't, why not?
Mac, you go first.
okay. Well, first off, like I already teased already, I
Mm.
should use high caps. I should use one high cap and be happy because I'm constantly losing mags all the time, like a dummy. Because
No,
I'll
no,
like
you need to.
two high caps,
Yeah.
one high cap, and an emergency mid cap, and then after that, it's like walk off the field, dude.
Oh, so what you're saying is you're not even gonna finish the game anymore. You're just gonna go out, go through 350 rounds, and then call it a day.
Exactly, man. I'm tired. Maybe I'm old, man.
Oh
I
man.
need sleep.
Okay.
Dude, I'm in the same boat.
No, I'm just okay. No. As soon as your ankles are good, we are training.
okay.
Yeah, we're rolling
Okay,
together.
okay.
Yeah.
Rolling.
As soon as-
Don't
No,
say
Why
that.
would you say that word? You are an ass. Oh, I just felt Poi's ankles from here. Mine. I just got like a tingling sensation there. You had to say that. You had to say
Oh
that.
boy.
Rolling.
Wow.
Rolling
Yeah,
down
we're
the
rolling.
road.
So like, I guess through my airsoft career, I was like a purist for like low caps and mid caps back then. But now, as I grow older, I've become
Simplicity.
I've become lazy and I don't
Practicality.
want to carry extra mags. And I'm like, okay, I just want to shoot stuff. Put on a high cap, roll that wheel. All right, let's go. Shoot a couple of
Yeah.
people, and then once I'm done with that whatever's in that mag, I'm pretty much done for the day. and then I'll call it a day for that one, right? That's basically me right now. Why do I use it? Because it's so much simpler. I don't have to use a plunger, or a speed loader to load, however many. Even though I have an Odin loader as well, right, for Man 4 mags, right? Right. For me, I've just become lazy. I'll use a high cap. The thrill for me is basically like going out there, working with the teams and stuff, or working with random people, teamwork, right? I'm not too worried about, gear and stuff. Not too worried about, fast reloads and stuff. If I am, I'd go back to gas blowback and do all that stuff, right? So for me, it's like, yeah, no, I just want to go out there, play, and then come out. I don't want to carry all that gear due to, ankle and stuff like that, right? Like, I don't want to carry too much gear. I'll just wear, like, some sort of chest rig just to carry the mag, and as well as, like, a bunch of random stuff like the barrel bag, and, there's a dump pouch there if I need to, do stuff. But other than that, I'm minimalist in terms of going out there and just wanting to play, right? And Airsoft is just basically the gun itself, and I'll shoot, and then, and yelling at people. That's it. I've just gotten, like, let's be honest, I've just gotten lazier, and, I just want to relax on my feet, right? If I want to go through the full combat load, yeah, I'll jump into the gas blowback stuff and have a full combat load, and get the reloads in. But other than that, yeah, I'll use a high cap. I have no issues using a high cap. I used to back then, hated it, but now different. Life changes, I guess. But yeah, I mean, it's simple. That's it. You want 300 rounds? Use that. Other than that, I do have. I guess we're going to segue into that as basically the drum mags later, but I do have drum mags as well that I use that are mechanical and automatic and stuff. So I'd use that as well if I'm in the ultimate lazy mode, right? So go ask Pat, because he's the one that uses it the most. Yeah, so that's it.
Okay, so yeah, like, definitely. Well, I mean, I guess, like, the mechanical issue is, like, the main component of a high cap magazine, correct? It's like that's literally the only thing I feel like is, like, or I mean, it's like the defining thing that's separating the mid cap platform to the high cap platform. Because exactly like we're talking about with this new introduction of the EPM1, I'm sure that there are other companies out there that are all thinking, like, that they need to get in on this too, right? I wouldn't be surprised if we somehow get like a 300 round.
That must be an intricate design in a magazine to get it, like,
like,
spring wounded in. I don't know.
Yeah. Maybe they extend the mag base a little bit or something like that. Because, I mean, I know most mags are going off a traditional, like, 30 round
designs, yeah.
Design, right? But, like, I'm pretty sure Stanag mags, like, they even have ones that are, like, 45 rounders.
Yeah, they do. It's just a little bit longer. It's weird.
They're like our version of a banana mag.
I actually have one of those.
A 45?
Yeah. It's just a little bit longer. I actually think we have one in one of our storage boxes or something like that.
Oh, cool. Well, I mean, like, so for that, like, I mean, if the platform were to like to keep evolving and stuff like that, I'm sure we're gonna see a lot more innovation coming out, because, like, yeah, like you're saying, we've got a spring-fed high cap just hitting the market. I know I've seen a couple on the field. I've got to mag dump a couple. Like, I got to dump a mag like twice with those EPM ones, and they're really nice. They feed super smooth, and it's really nice to be able to kind of watch the follower on the side to kind of give you like an ammo indicator, right? So it's like, like,
so would that still be considered a mid cap, or is it a high cap at a certain level?
Well, at that point now, I think we'd have to classify it as like a high cap or a spring-fed high cap. Right?
Yeah, it might create its own classification of its own now, considering what's going on and stuff like that.
Well, because
So, high caps, events. Would you ever, I guess for you specifically, Poi, like if you were to ever run an AEG event as well, not saying that you would, but what's your opinion on high caps being allowed at events?
I mean,
use the word when.
I mean, for like regular sort of Trouble in Terrorist Town gameplays or mini games that I run, I don't care what people use.
Yeah.
The goal is basically for people to have fun and for
Right.
people to like run through the objectives, run through the event,
Yeah.
run through, you know, whatever sort of scenario that I provide them. If I am limiting gear, then I am gonna limit gear. But in terms of like high cap or anything like that, I have no quarrels with it, no whatsoever. Gas blowback games, that's different because you're always using real cap or, you know, whatever it comes with your gas gun, right? As long as you don't tap it. That's my. I'm looking
Okay,
at you
so I
two.
So I guess it depends like on the what tier event you're going to. It sounds like if you're going to like a tier 3, maybe some tier 2 events you'd be allowed, but it definitely sounds like it's a no at tier 1 events.
I mean, here's the thing: if you're trying to control 300 players to not have high caps, you're still gonna have that 1 or 2 or 3 or 4. Like in Milsim West, you see like, you know, a couple of guys that are actually using high cap mags, right? You're not gonna be able to control them. The only
Shame.
I know.
Shame. You just take a
that's-
picture of them, document them.
Oh my
That's
God,
the only
yeah,
way. That's
call
the only
that-
way you can do it. Is
call that the hell
you
out.
just shame them, right? But
Yeah.
as far as like trying to control people, right? Are you gonna stop someone who paid $200 to get into an event, and they only have a high cap, right? You already
They
have.
didn't have the money.
Yeah.
Yes,
then-
because I have a no refund policy and you didn't read my rules.
Agreed. But you're already restricted with ammo, right? So you're not gonna be able to tell people go
Look.
home, right?
Chewbacca was a Wookiee on Endor.
Using the Chewbacca defense.
Look. Endor, okay, had these things called Ewoks. That does not make sense.
Oh my gosh. All right.
Sorry.
Move on, Tack.
Well, okay, so like, and then, well, okay, because I mean, you obviously let high caps at events because right now we get into classifications, right? Like LMGs are all using box mags and or drum mags, or I mean, I don't know. Does it- does any-
Whoa! Now you're just
Yeah,
going.
our
You're
RPK.
you're skipping into a different realm there.
Well, no, because you keep like, dude, there's only one more step after this when you're asking about high caps. Like, don't ask any more here. Let's go.
What do you mean? There's two more. There's 2 more levels still.
So there's the
Go, you're driving
Crytek.
the train.
No,
There's
there's 2 more levels
there's the
left.
high cap. Not the high cap. There's the Crytek LMG, right? That counts as a LMG, right?
What's based off of the Ares Striker?
Yeah. So would you run a box or a high cap on that, or like in an event to be like, oh, this is considered a machine gun, but you could still fit an M4 mag or something like that, right? And then they're like, oh,
Well,
can
that's
I use a high cap on it then?
A 249 does that too, though.
Yeah.
but so with the Striker, it's loaded from the bottom, right? So it has an M4 mag well on it.
So would
right?
you,
So that,
even though it's
so
classified
it's
as a
not
machine
Belfast.
gun,
yeah, so that's it technically is, but for all intents and purposes right now, with how it's been at events and stuff like that, it's been a gray area just because for what we know what a machine gun is and stuff like that, it doesn't fall under that. But like if you get into the really technical aspects of it, it is. It's just that it turns people off for that factor, right? Because
what about an
stops a guy from
what about an
getting-
RPK, right? Like, would you put an AK banana mag that's a high cap, or would you put a drum mag on it?
I would put a
right?
drum mag on it.
Yeah, but
Because
if a guy comes in and says, "Oh, this is the only mag I have. This is an RPK. It's considered a machine gun. He only has an eye cap." Then what?
I would tell him that he has to use the long banana mid caps.
So you're denying people based on their hardware already to an event.
Yeah, this is not.
See,
this is not
then,
going good
then,
for you, Hitler.
then you're restricting people. You're restricting people on what they can have on events. I understand that is the requirements, but you're, like I said, when people go through my games, they try to bend the rules right away, right? Do I fight them?
Why'd you get an RPK?
There you go. Do you fight
it.
them,
Yeah, I
or
would fight them on
do
that
you
because-
do you
I'll
do you
fight every
do
single
you keep
airsofter.
do you keep your customer base, happy,
Well,
right?
because like because I understand that point, right? Because like in the video games that I play and stuff like that, the RPK usually has the magazine on it, right? If you're playing like an insurgent class, maybe it's got like a drum mag on it or whatever it is. So I get what you guys are saying. If you want to go with a certain look and stuff like that, there isn't really yeah, there really isn't. I would only say
Well, it's a tough situation, right? Because
Yeah, so
like,
it's the same thing
okay,
for an
I'm pretty
M249.
sure.
Put a
Well,
box
okay,
mag
so,
on it, or put
but
a box mag on it, right? That fits. But if you put an M4 mag on it with the wheel, with the high cap wheel on it, right, or a flash mag, is that
yeah,
still considered a machine gun, or is it like because you're restricted not using
I,
high cap
yes,
at that
because you
point?
can't semi. I'm just kidding.
well, at that point, if because if we were to get into those gray details, you yourself would need to have some way of backing up and fighting those kinds of details. So like, for me, when it comes to that, I would be fighting it just because of the fact that like, for someone to want to bring something like that, they're already looking to try and like snake through things, in my opinion.
Sneaky boys.
Yes, those snaky boys.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Okay. But so like my thing to that in asking you about this point too, right? Is like, is your only discerning factor is the fact that these things are not belt fed, or like, right? Because like that's the thing, right? So you're
I have
talking
no,
about
I
the
have no,
Schweiker.
I have no gripe over the ruling.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
just
Mm-hmm.
trying to
No,
bend the
I'm saying,
rules as much
uh,
as I can.
of course, I understand the gray area sniping,
Yeah.
but like, so and then I guess that asks to you, Tack, right? Is like, do you break it down over that kind of classification where you get into like the real world kind of aspect of it, or do you kind of like
Well,
stay
if you're
back
going,
and it's like, okay,
sorry, no, no, no.
oh, well, okay, so that's what I'm saying, right? Because like, okay, so say I run, I don't know, a mid cap that is like, or a high cap mag, right? That's 350 rounds or something like that, right? Or let's say it's 250, right? And what's a standard box mag is like 200, right?
No, box mags are start at 1,500 rounds.
No, I'm talking about a real world counterpart.
Oh, real world. Yeah, I think it's like 150 rounds, 200 round.
200 rounds, right? Or 100 rounds or something like that, right? So now it's like, okay, can they run it?
I mean,
Do you get my point on it?
No, no,
That's where I see his.
no, no.
I wanted to extend on what he was saying.
So with that part, again, comes down to the rules and what event you're trying to simulate and stuff like that. And again, if you're going to an event, you're more than likely copying like real world sort of like counterpart stuff, unless you're like
Mhm.
making a completely faux role playing sort of fantasy sort of faction and like rule set and stuff like that. Uh,
ODST.
yeah, well, exactly. So I would say that at that point it would be up to the event
The
organizer,
event.
right?
Yeah.
Like it's like let's be honest, is that guy who is essentially like the RPK in specific, playing as an LMG guy, right?
Mhm.
Does he have an advantage running with a high cap banana mag? Probably not, right? So in that context, right, I would be okay with that.
Well, I mean, then see, okay, so if
No,
you're gonna
no,
ask that question,
but I'm saying in that context, right? So some guy tried to argue with me on another factor, it would have to be looked at and it'd be like the answer would be no because of that factor, right?
No, what I'm looking at is if you're already putting in so many restrictions, he comes into that day and be like, "Oh, this is the only one I have." Are you gonna deny him that day?
Yes.
Wow.
Sorry,
So,
cold.
so for me,
He's cold-hearted. Eh?
so for me, I prefer to run a business. Like if that is extra revenue that is not gonna come in, then
What do you mean come in? You
Yeah, I
already
got
paid.
thrown some-
He already paid. He'll learn for the next time to be prepared because that's what we pay to go to these events for is to be prepared.
that's not a way to do business, man.
Yo, this is why TAC doesn't take the lead on things. Oh my god, this sounds so bad, dude.
All right,
No.
let's move on because we could argue
Yeah.
about this all day because there's always some guy that's gonna bend the rule, yes, and there's always gonna be that manager that doesn't like how things go, yes, but there's also factors that come in and be like, yeah, well, you're doing that, then you're pissing off the player base. Agreed upon.
I get that, but like my counter to that would just be like, bro, all 14 of my mid caps just don't work, man. I gotta use this one high cap for the event. Like, it's
All 14 of them.
you know what I mean? It's just like it'd be like, get out, get out, So,
Yo, bro, I left all my mid caps at home. All
right.
I have is this one high
right?
cap.
Because again, like, yeah, it's just that. Like, you're supposed to be prepared for these kinds of things. If you only have one of something and you're taking it to an event, you need to look at yourself.
All right, moving on.
You need to look at yourself in that hotel meal bathroom and ask yourself,
So next,
how did I end up in Oregon?
next is drum mags. So, guys.
So hold
what
on,
makes
Hop.
it-
We were just talking about high caps. I guess you just explained to us what your classification of drum mags is then, because I think we kind of blurred the line between high caps at this point.
Why? What's a drum mag to you guys?
It's basically anything that shoots over 1,500 rounds or holds that much.
No, because
A circle magazine.
Because a drum mag can also be a box mag.
yes and no.
Okay, really, Poi? Really?
That's
Really? I'll fight you on this. What did you just say, Poi?
So mechanically,
drum mag?
your drum mag is basically the same as a box mag. You're just using a motor to. You have a reservoir.
Okay.
well, hold
The
on.
shape
Good save,
doesn't
Poi.
matter.
So
The shape
Poi,
doesn't
shapes
matter.
So-
Shapes matter.
so in this specific thing, I would say
It's in the name, Poi.
yeah. So
Drum.
I would say shape does matter when it comes to drum mag because I have its own classification here just because it does have its own
Box mag.
well, because it skirts around sort of like a gray area because yes, it's similar to a high cap, right? Where you do have
I'm not
some-
comparing it to high cap. I'm comparing it to box mag and drum mag. They're basically the same system. They have a reservoir that is huge, which is basically like 1,500 or 1,000
Okay.
BBs or whatever, right? And then
Yes.
you have a system that uses the same hopper system, but you're using like a motor or some sort of like spring
Yeah, but
system or
a
pull.
drum mag is still put in through the mag well though. It's still like,
Right, but you're okay. See, you're trying to get way too technical on this because I'm saying to you guys right now, we all agree. I know we do. They're all the same. A high cap is a high cap, and a drum mag
well, so
is a high cap.
essentially high cap mags like high cap M4 Stenag mags, drum mags, box mags, they're all high capacity magazines. Yes,
Yeah.
but when we look at it in the terms of classifications and stuff like that, right? Like when someone says a high cap, no one's really thinking about a box mag, right? They're thinking about 350
Because they
rounds.
say box mag. They say it.
Well,
they say
Be-
box mag.
because box mags have their own thing. Like I'll say this right now. There is no there's no manual loaded box mag, right? They're all with motors.
Pour
Yeah.
the BBs in.
Yeah.
Right? So specifically going back to drum mags, right? Drum mags like high capacity mags, well, actually not like high capacity mags
Oh,
because
okay.
with drum mags you have the option of manually winding them as well as having an electric motor attached, right? And
Yep.
then on top of that, with the manual winding, they're also similar to like flash mags because you also have like the Angel Customs flash mag. I think it's like the Thunderstorm or whatever it is.
Yeah, I have both
Right?
the mechanical one and
Okay.
the
Yeah.
Okay.
pull one.
So
Now I see the light. Now I see what you're arguing there. Sorry. Okay.
well, I'm just saying.
I hope everyone else who's listening and everything kind of got it too, because that was a ride.
I still think they're the same.
They
Well,
they are,
so
but okay.
anyways,
he's arguing
mags-
about the way it works.
So anyways, a drum mag still you have to load it in the mag well, right? So regardless, you have to put it in the mag well. Yeah, you have to do it with a box mag, but a box mag has to have its own little contraption to be able to make it work, right? Like,
So I'm going back to the Crytek LMG. That one is a box mag. I have it in my container.
yeah,
That's a box
yeah.
mag. You put it in, and it's got a motor underneath. So what's that? Is that a hybrid then, or because it still loads into the M4 like loader, and it goes to like a Crytek LMG?
Well, so that's like one of those weird ones because, like I said, right, it's its own classification. It's the Schriker, right? So,
Mm.
Well,
that-
isn't
that's
that
like,
going to be the new standard too, though?
what are you talking about? Like the Marine Corps specifically?
Well, yeah, I mean, I guess, right, because specifically they went for the whole M27, right? So they
I
are
don't
going to
I don't think they're gonna use drum mags. I think they're still gonna use like 60 round mags or 30 round mags.
oh, just like extended. Okay.
I believe because drum mags are not um practical in a
You
Battle.
can't
in a
put it in a
battlefield
pouch.
situation.
You can't put it in a pouch.
I feel like
put it
you
in a
could
C9
make a
pouch.
drum mag pouch.
You could put it in a utility pouch, but
Mm.
They make box mag pouches.
Yeah.
You're gonna okay, so they could probably make a box mag for it. See, shapes do
okay.
matter.
Let's be real, okay? Like if we're gonna talk about this,
I love
right?
it, boy. I love
The
it. See
Russians
that?
had this.
Boy,
Okay,
look
they
at
did
it.
it with the
It's my heart.
RPK, right? The Americans are coming late to the game. It is what it is.
Gotcha. All right.
Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
we all know what a drum mag is, right?
Yeah.
I've seen it in RPKs. You know, I've seen it in. I've seen it in. I have 2 Angel Custom drum mags at my container. I also have the double C mags in my container.
Mhm.
Right. I have
Yeah,
the single
AK
C. Yeah. And
I
yeah,
I have about 3 or 4 drum mags.
yeah,
as
I have a whole bunch of variety of drum mags in my container,
Mm-hmm.
and they all do the same thing. They load into the magazine. You're right, and I either have a motor or a wind up. So most of them are motors anyway,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
I would say like for me, like they're cool because you don't have to reload an entire day basically if you're not shooting as much, right?
If you're the reserved shooter,
Yeah,
100%.
100%. But if I'm using it on like, let's say my double C mag, if I use it on my Patriot, like the deep fire Patriot that I have, oh my god, is it fun to shoot, especially when you have a DSG gear on it, just go. Yeah, I have some pretty cool guns. But yeah, no,
Oh
it's
my
it's fun to use, especially if you got like a 4-inch barrel on it, and then you just put like a double C mag on it, and then you basically just put the feed on like constantly on, and all you're doing is just like one arm in that thing, and you're going. It's
I
fun.
need to see this next time.
Yeah,
Oh my god.
we need to see this in action.
Yeah. I don't know if
That
it's
would
still
be
working,
cute.
but you know the deep fire,
Oh my god. I'm
the
actually
deep
pretty-
fire is probably been used a lot in my Trouble in Terrorist Town videos because it's fun to use, and you know it's one of those things where you just want something fast to shoot and high capacity. That's where the drum mag comes in, right? Or the double C mag basically, which is pretty cool.
So from hearing you, boy, you're saying that drum mags are pretty practical in the sense of like.
I mean,
use, right?
if you're going for the movie look, you know,
Right.
if you're going for that Metal Gear Solid look, you know, the Patriot would be a common one, right? Yeah, no, it looks cool, especially when you have the double C mags. Those are cool because you got 2 of the drums, you know,
Yeah.
left and right. It looks like a nutsack on a gun, basically.
Well, and on top of that,
This is me showing you my balls.
yeah, and on top of that, that specific mag holds quite a bit. I think it
Yes,
holds like
it does.
5,000
Yeah.
or something like that.
Jesus
Yeah, it's
Christ.
insane. You could hear the weight of the BBs is heavier
Yeah.
than the gun.
Exactly.
Really? Oh my
Yeah.
God.
At that point, right, when people start throwing in .4s or whatever it is, if you're insane. You're literally weighing yourself down.
Yeah, I mean, like I said,
need the range.
I only bought it for the cool factor. That's like
Okay.
practical wise, like there's some issues with some feeding. You know, there's a whole bunch of issues with it. You know, sometimes the motor, you know, doesn't work very well or whatever, right? But I only bought it for the looks because I have like a small little M4 that I use with it, very tiny, and load that thing up. It looks super cool. Like that's, you know, Airsoft, right? Super cool.
So for you, Mac, what about you?
Well, I mean, it definitely sounds like Okay, so just like I want to like touch on what Poi was just like the whole spiel, because it's like if we're going on a pure practicality sense, it's like I want to throw all of those away because I feel like it's like yes, I feel like high ammo is definitely a benefit, like it can be a benefit, but I also feel like it could be a burden, you know? And it sounds like just like over like how cumbersome some of these things can be, and then especially when you have like a lot of moving parts, like mechanical wise, right? A lot of things can go wrong, right? So like, you know, the classics is never wrong, so I understand like having like a cool drum mag with like an electric auto winding feature, so every time you shoot it's gonna wind another BB for you, so you don't have to worry about reloading and stuff like that. I get that, but like when that stuff fails, it's like like a good old mechanical manual mind the winding the wheel, like that what's wrong with that, right? So like I don't know. And then I guess for me too is like I want to separate like in my mind I'm automatically just starting to separate stuff into classifications instead, because like I know we have the categories, but like we're talking about this stuff, so all of a sudden I'm already just being like, okay, yeah, box mag, LMG, like drum mag. I'm in between like that LMG platform slash like especially with just some of the real world stuff that's going on with just like like it's just hinting on the Marines changing their weapon around, right? And so it's like obviously you want to have that heavy duty support weapon, so it's like having more team members being able to provide that role, I guess. So it's like I see the practicality aspect of it, but it's also like no, I don't know.
I'm just in it for the cool factor. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I get it. Well, the point, and that's why I'm saying I go back, because I'm like I dig the reloads. So then now tax challenging me, and I'm like looking at my bag already, and I'm like, all right, the real caps are coming out.
I don't know. For me, it'd be like, dig the reload. For me, I'll just shake that thing. I still got ammo.
Yeah. So for myself,
Then I started blasting.
like I've used the drum mag with the ARP, right? It's the manual. It's the manual winding one. It's
Yeah.
super practical. Not gonna lie, if you have the 9mm platform for the ARP, and you don't have the drum mag, you're not doing yourself justice. Just because it's got a 1500 round mag capacity, which is really nice just for how it is. It's small form factor. ARP's already really small, so it doesn't really get too much in the way and stuff like that. So I like the practical factor for that platform. And then I know, Poi, you're gonna hate this, but I also have a drum mag for my GBB 416, just because.
Throw it away. Ugh, gross.
I hate to say it, but for the practical use, just because with the way the temperature is up here and stuff like that, it really allows me to be able to use my GBB all year round. Now, it might not be a GBB.
Sacrilege.
Now, it might not be a GBB in the wintertime, just because I have it within HPA TAP magazine, but it then goes to the cool factor, which is my gas blowback. I can sit there and full auto it, for really long bursts, and it's fun. It's really cool, and
So it's fun until all the gears break, right?
So with the advantage,
I was gonna say, have you tried it yet, Poi?
Yes, it's gross.
Okay,
I'm a purist. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so
he's like, what's this abomination?
So with the advantage of that, right? Like, if it breaks, it's got pretty beefy electronics inside it compared to some other platforms and stuff like that. So it's not too bad to deal with and stuff. Unfortunately, it's sometimes hard to find a motor because they don't really have the brand names on them and stuff. So you gotta kind of do a little more research and whatnot. But yeah,
do mind that some of these drum mags are hella expensive.
So
to begin with,
yeah. So now
because the double C mag I bought was literally $160.
How much?
So, and
160.
And
Yeah,
so my
that's expensive.
HPA drum mag, I think, was $275 or something like that. I think it was.
That was for your
the
top one.
Yeah.
My ARP one, I think, was.
It's about $60 or $90 if I remember.
No, I think it was about $90.
Yeah.
80 to $90.
That's not bad, but still,
Yeah.
like
It's not bad. It's actually really not bad, and that one's really nice.
Well,
It's
Yeah.
actually,
and
you
so
know,
my
it's
argument with that is, how many mags have you lost?
what, like
a lot.
A
Stanag,
lot, right?
like regular
So, so,
mags.
so, so right now, when we get into the argument of mags, right? Each mag about $30 and stuff like that. As soon as right? So like one drum
Look,
mag
I know,
always in your
I
gun.
know, I know.
So for me, it's
Mm.
still the drum
Unless
mag
you
is
lose that drum
practical.
mag, then I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah,
Then
well,
you're screwed.
exactly.
You
So,
might as well just leave.
and on the bonus side too, is I feel like the drum mag itself is available for a lot of the platforms. It's available for AEGs, HPA, GBBs, right? Especially with the armor
And
works and
and
stuff like that.
it gives that, you know, upgrade edge over
Mhm.
someone else, right? That's
Yeah.
the point of, you know, like what you're saying there, Mac, is, you know, Airsoft is a play to win, you know,
Pay to
game,
win,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
Mhm.
it's one of those things where if
PTT.
you pay to look cool, you pay to get the upper advantage, right? That's
We pay
what
for the
it is.
experience,
Yeah.
right?
So for that in Airsoft world, no problem for me, right? Like that's no problem. Like I paid to make it look cool from M4, so be it. That's what it is. I don't care what anyone says. Looks cool.
Mhm.
And then I let
Yeah.
other people use it. They're like, oh man, this is cool.
Mhm.
Super cool.
Yeah.
Okay, your M4 is the one. Oh, I love it so much.
Yeah.
Okay, so now the
Slaps.
next one is events. Do you guys see drum mags being allowed at events?
So
Now, I know we got into a little bit of it, right? And so
in
when it
events, when it comes to events, if they don't restrict the mags, no problem
Mhm.
for me. No problem. If
Okay.
you're restricting mags, mid caps only, then we have a problem because that is a considered a high cap, right?
100 exactly. We're all
There you
under
go.
agreement
I
that a
think
drum mag is
we all agree on this, right?
right until someone makes like a spring-fed drum mag,
Dude,
which I
let me
don't.
know.
Okay.
I want
Yeah,
it. I want it.
I would want it.
Wind it
if-
up at the beginning
if-
of the
no,
game.
no, no, no,
not,
no.
not wind it.
Not
You-
wind it.
you
A
fill it.
spring loaded one.
Exactly. And
If you could
just
get
like,
the actual real ammunition count on it, which is like what is it, like 80 rounds or something on a double C mag or something like that, I would
is
take it. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and then it's like 50 in the
The tiny
single
one.
drone, right?
Yeah, the single one. It's like 60 or 50. 60.
Yeah.
It's 60. Yeah.
Something like that's why the double fat mag is actually used more, because it's the standard thing
Yeah.
and it moves up a lot easier
So
versus
if
the drum mag
if
where
they
it goes
make
around the circle.
I guess low cap versions of drum mags, I would totally go for it because
I would too.
that
Oh my
would,
God.
again,
I'm
that
actually,
is
like,
that is just the
thinking of
cool
this in my head
factor,
right
right? That is
Yeah,
just the cool
yeah.
factor for me.
It might be expensive, I'm not gonna lie, just because
Because that's a lot more materials. Let's be honest
yeah,
here.
the form factor of it and stuff like that.
But
might
we
be
all
hard
know
to do.
Airsoft Chad does not stop for anything.
No, I would definitely, yeah, I would get it for sure.
Yeah. So I think we all agree. Events, high cap, not allowed, then you can't use it. I mean that's the thing.
Well, yeah, I don't think they should be. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So it sounds like for us, definitely high capacity magazines at events, depending, but most likely are limited based off of platform, because as we're gonna get on to the next one here, which is box mags, it is platform dependent, right? So
Oh, that's what you mean. Okay.
when it comes to box mags, what makes a box mag in airsoft?
So, from my understanding, having an M249, that is when you have a hose and a feeder system that plugs into the side of the M249, not underneath a like a magazine well or anything. Is that what you're looking for a box mag?
So that's what you would think, right? But unfortunately, airsoft being airsoft, GMP likes to be different. So GMP actually doesn't utilize the side loading Steneg port. You actually have, it's a bottom feeding one. So it's similar to the Crytek one, where you put it through the bottom latch, but it's got a hole where the latch is, and it actually feeds it through that hole through the bottom, just like
Is
it
it
would
more
a
reliable
standard.
though?
I don't know. I haven't tried it. I stayed
Because
away from it just
because
because
I
it was
know for
completely
the
different and
M249 ones, it's
proprietary.
always unreliable.
Uh,
Just like the real one. No, I'm just kidding.
well, my experience with the M249 box mags is that they have really crappy electronic internals. So
From the magazine then?
yeah. So with that, if you are able to upgrade that and fix that, then essentially you eliminate a lot of the feeding problems that you have, because
So
it
almost all of them, all of the machine guns that I know of, anyways, like the 240, Bravo, M249, M60, all of these guys use the same sort of like system where you plug in
Mhm.
the like the feeder system into the side of the gun,
Yeah.
right? Are they all the same? Like
Not all the
similar?
same. I know that, for instance, the MG42, I think it is, that just came out and stuff like that. I haven't had a chance to actually look at it face to face. I know a couple guys brought it to the field and whatnot as a two-man team, but the M60, the M249 that I'm familiar with, like the A&K models and stuff like that, all are side loaded. Like the A&K one, if I remember correctly, like the M60 and the M240, it's got a little hose that you have to screw into the side where the box mag
So they're all
receptacle is.
different then.
Essentially, but they're all based off of the same concept, where the box is on the side and then it feeds
It's
into the
not feeding
system.
into a magazine. It's just or a magazine. Well, it's feeding into some sort of system that they're proprietary in a way.
Essentially, yeah, it's like you're finding a way to channel it. Like at that point, like, because this is where a lot of the custom stuff can happen too, is in those platforms. It's just about getting the BB into the hop-up chamber at that point and getting it to just shoot.
Gotcha.
Mhm.
So are they all based on machine guns then? If we're talking about
Mo
box
mo
mags?
Most of the time, yeah. Like any, I know you were saying the Krytac one and the G&G one and stuff like that, where they have the box mag with the mag well on it. Um, Partly, I think that's also them doing like a what do you call it? A cheap design sort of thing, because they already had their combat machine design. So why not just throw a box mag thing in here, and then now it's an LMG kind of thing. So I think it was like a cheap redesign for them to do to make another platform for them to sell in that
Mm,
sense. So it wasn't a bad decision, I think, for them, right? Because it makes it available and stuff like that, and reuses parts that are available on the market. I'm pretty sure it uses a combat machine top, like G&G specifically, so you can swap those out and stuff like that. So
okay. Well, now I know a little bit about box mags, but
Mhm.
for me, it's like I hardly ever use it because I don't use a machine gun to
Mhm.
begin with, and
I'm not a fan of them in the sense that it just comes down to the fact that there's really low quality magazines. The electronics in them are crap. They're really, really thin wiring. So if you, especially the M249 box mag, if you don't put foam or something on the side to help keep the BBs stay inside the chamber, and they get all around in the electronic parts, like running around and stuff like that, those BBs moving around can actually damage the inside of your components and
mm,
whatnot. So that's something to be mindful of when it comes to box mags. Um, the other thing too is that they're heavy.
box mags. Well, I mean,
Yeah,
They can, yeah, they can get heavy, yeah.
yeah, because like the one that I have, the NK one, standard, I think it's 2,500 rounds or something like that.
you talking
You
about the hard
can,
shell one, not the soft shell one, right?
yeah, the hard shell one, yeah, and with that, you can mod them to hold up to 5,000 rounds. Right? So you got if you just put twos in there, you got kilogram of twos in there. in your box mag, like geez.
Yeah,
And then
I
your gun, your LMG's already probably weighing something close to like
Right?
10 something pounds. Like,
Exactly, right? So it can get a little crazy. Well, and I guess like the one thing is like the biggest thing is what's the difference between the box mag and the drum mag? Like I think we kind of touched over that a little bit. I see Mac is specifically talking about shape.
shapes don't matter.
shapes matter.
Yeah, well, I think so. I think the biggest difference that we came about is just the way it's loaded into the system and stuff like that,
Yep,
right? Like,
the system. Yeah.
um, I think I've seen different versions of the box mags out there and stuff like that. I know there's a lot of other guys trying to do 3D printing and stuff like that. I've seen one mentioned.
by one of the local airsofters. He was really promoting the Classic Army M249 box bag, and I think it was because it's with a positive feeding system, similar to the minigun, where in the minigun you open up the center tube or whatever it is, and you just fill that, and then it's got like a cap
Yeah,
with a
which has a
spring
spring on it. Yeah, which pushes
Right.
all of it down. Yeah.
Yeah, so that positive feeding system always ensures that you're always feeding like all the time. And this box mag that I'd like to get my hands on as well is similar. It's got like a little trap door kind of thing, and as when you fill it, it goes down, and as you're emptying it out, it just keeps pushing the BBs so that it's always pushing them into the feeding system, which is
Mm.
That's practical.
yeah, which is really nice. I think it's really cool. I would like to, get my hands on and try it out for sure.
So box mags have like it's almost like a gray area for experimentation because there's a lot of bad designs and a lot of room for improvement and a lot of room for modifying it because it sounds like
Well, I feel like
there's a lot of things wrong with it and there's a lot of things that can be improved on it, but no one's really done anything about it.
Yeah, well, exactly. I see a lot of people doing like experiments and DIY stuff and rewiring it.
there we go.
I guess that segues into your next one.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
well,
Is like I was like, dude, I think you branched out now because like once you go away from stock box mag, right? Yes, some of the internals are crap. Yes, some of the times there's problems. Yes, there's feeding issues. Sorry. But now it's like, okay, for you to have that platform and make it work. And then this also applies to all the other mags too, when you double back on it too, right? Your high cap breaks, how do you fix it? Like, you figure it out, right? It's mechanical in there, there's moving parts. Your mid cap isn't feeding, right? Is your spring broken? Like, it's the one thing. Like, right? So like, yeah, it's like a lot of it is like definitely once you open up the realm of possibilities, it's a lot of do it yourself. It's like, changing and modifications and stuff like that. Like, I mean, so before we were even starting the show and everything like that, Tack, you were telling me about some crazy DIY stuff that you've seen, and I'm like shocked, right? I can't wait, or I definitely need to check it out.
Yeah, well, so like when it comes to DIY mags, like it is what it exactly is. It's people doing their own thing to their magazines to make it work to be able to do whatever they want to do with their, play system, right? Like at some point, all these HPA adapters that we all see that have become like a actual business model and actual product was at some point someone's DIY project in the back that could have exploded at any time, right? Like, let's be real, guys. um, like, yeah, I don't know. It's like I guess that comes to the question of like, why do people make them? Like, I know, I guess from hearing Poi's experience, it doesn't sound like Poi ever got to the point of experimenting with
Nope.
his own
I
mags. He seems
just
like
open up the gas mags and maintain it. I know how to maintain it because you have to maintain a gas mags, and that's the furthest extent I'll go. Actually, the furthest extent I went was ordering Maple Armory springs and putting them in old Stanag mags that I have that are metal ones that are my favorite. I opened them up. The springs were pretty much like compressed. They're gone. You could only heat treat it so many times or put it in the oven so many times until it breaks, right? So I put in new mags and, they reduced from 140 to 90 rounds, but hell do they feed like really well. It's changing the spring on your old mags. If you like your old mags, buy new springs. That's the easiest way to do it.
Yeah.
And then that's it. Or you could even go as far as like, putting a follower on something that didn't have a follower before, right? That's another one. Maple Armory sells those as well. You could just put a follower so that the last BB always feeds. I have some mags from 10 years ago that I love, King Arms or something like that. And they are metal mags. They're heavy. I love them. They're durable, and they have all my, like scratches and dents on it. Like I love the look of it because they're classic, damaged look.
It's weathered.
Yeah, very weathered, but just the springs on it don't last 10 years, right? So replace the spring and you're good to go. That's the furthest I've ever gotten too. to modifying it or DIYing your mag. It's still the same thing. But
Mm.
what you're saying is things like Schoolboy does in his blog. He does some crazy stuff to get his like magazine M249 magazines working or whatever working, right? And he does some crazy modifications for it to, you know, to work or have a faster motor to feed it, you know. Or what you were doing is setting up the speaker so that, you know, it, or the mic so that it picks up, you know, how it winds up, right?
Yeah, well, there's things that you can do.
To improve.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that you can do, and it always helps to have a little bit of a tinkering background, or an inclination to wanna, you know, mess with things and experiment and stuff like that. Like, I don't know about you, Mac. Have you ever tried experimenting with DIY stuff?
I mean, to the extent of I've changed springs in some of my mags, and I've added a follower. That's about it.
Okay.
Well,
All
does
right.
hold on? Does
Like,
this
you know,
count?
like-
Does this count? Does taping two mags and one
Yes.
over the opposite direction
Yes.
so that when you reload you go?
Yes.
Does that count?
That counts in my books.
Oh yes.
That's Hollywood stuff.
Yes,
right there. That's
yes.
the big
I-
picture.
Yeah.
I am a
Big
tinkerer. Oh, thank God.
Big thinker.
Yeah.
Big,
Big
thinker.
brain.
If you
Oh, I can see it. I can see your brain pumping from here.
if you used silver duct tape, that's even kosher.
Oh my God.
And you gotta take it out and do the flip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for myself, I've tried to. I've attempted to make a drum mag for my Tokyo Murray Mark 23. It's just been, I guess I've been busy with a bunch of other things, so I haven't really, gotten a deep dive into it. But I know what parts I need to get to sort of to make it work, and then I just got to experiment around that. Of course, I could always just get myself the primary arms HPA tapped adapter, and then get like a MP5 drum mag or something like that, and have that work. But where's the fun in that? Right?
I just want to get the one for my Glock so I can play with that all the time. Just Glock. Poi has left the chat.
Well, with the, like a DIY mags and stuff like that, people wiring their box mags to their trigger is one thing that I know a lot of people have done or tend to do to increase reliability when it comes to the box mag platform.
So that's when they pull the trigger, it feeds as well?
Yeah, exactly.
Wow.
So they have it directly connected to their signal wire, I think it is, and so every time they pull the trigger and complete the circuit, it'll be feeding at the same time as it's shooting, which is pretty practical, and it helps with the reliability of it. Now, the con of that is that your whole system is entirely wired, so if you trip or fall on your box mag, or if you forget that your thing is connected and you try to swap mags, there's a good chance that you destroy the hard work you put in there. But
His
other than
airsoft.
yeah. I know it's been a while, but I think when I first got into airsoft, I remember seeing a backpack fed gun.
Is that
I
still a
haven't-
thing? Because I've never seen
Yeah.
one
I haven't
ever.
Well, so I haven't seen one lately, but the one that I saw was this guy having a giant backpack where it looked like a 2-liter bottles or something like that. So he just had them all in his backpack or whatever, on his bag or whatever, and he had like a hose or like a steel spring kind of thing to where he had it go right into his pistol, and that's how he had it loading. Yeah, and he had like another button or something like that he pressed, which caused the feeding mechanism inside the backpack to push the BBs to feed into his gun and stuff like that. So that's one thing that I saw, and I saw that like 3 years ago. I didn't see very much of it, but I thought it was pretty cool.
Interesting. I mean, it would make sense if you have like the bigger minigun, not the minigun, the not the minigun, the other one bigger than that, the
Vulcan?
Gatling gun. Yeah, the
Oh
Vulcan.
yeah.
Yeah, it would make sense if you have a line.
Like an actual. Like
Yeah,
an
you
actual,
have you have two lines: the hose for the air, and then the line for the BBs,
Oh,
right?
the belt.
Yeah. So you just connect it to a belt system. That would be cool, but I I don't know. You don't see that gun because that thing costs more than like a used car. So
Yeah, what was it? $3,000?
no, it's more than that, dude. It's more than that. It
I
costs.
forgot. I forgot that's 3,000 American.
That's American, buddy.
Bro, I will get a different crew weapon for cheaper. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'll go find a decommissioned gun and put a Polar Star in it for $1,000.
There you go. Oh man. All right. Well, yeah. There's a lot of DIY stuff that you could do.
Yeah. Well, I just threw it in there because it is a category in its own.
Can of worms.
Right. I guess it's silly to ask, but I'm gonna ask it anyways. Would you guys allow a DIY mag at an event? Now, when it comes to box mags specifically, they are allowed, but like I'm saying though, like the backpack ones, the homemade drum mag attachments and stuff like that.
So for me, if you're gonna do like a DIY, sort of like the backpack and a Vulcan gun, right?
Mhm.
I would allow that because that would be like a boss or something for an event or something.
Mhm.
If it's a standard force on force and you want everyone even,
Yeah.
that's a no.
So yeah, doing realistic kind of stuff. It would probably be a
Unless
no.
there's a vehicle which you mount a gun that has a system like that.
Yes,
Okay.
that'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So if you're doing a cruise,
Make it like
weapon
a
or something
technical.
like that, you'd be
Yeah.
fine with that.
Yeah.
Okay. I agree with that.
Yeah, because remember when we did the like the armored warfare from, you guys weren't here, but armored warfare from
Panzerfaust?
Panzerfaust. Yeah, we had Cooper's gun, which is an HPA system hooked up to the tanks and stuff. So it's like a short version of it, and it's basically a machine gun on the turret and stuff. And he had to manually crank that thing to get the turret going, and then he has the HPA line and a hose, and and it feeds through, right? So that's
pretty
like
badass.
yeah, that's like a example of a DIY right there, just modified to a the ferret's gun system. So there you go. All right, what is that? 5
That's all
categories that we went to.
Yeah,
Holy cow!
That's all the categories. So now
Yeah, that's it.
we're gonna go through just quick.
No, we're not.
What?
No, go.
Oh, you want to pull out? Okay.
No.
We can save.
Look, I didn't just wake up from a freaking nap. Okay, you gotta be practical here.
Okay, what's your thing to
What
attack?
else you want to talk about?
Well, so
You gotta scroll down there.
Have you guys tried all of these types of mags?
For me,
Mac, yes or no?
Yes.
Boy,
And no.
yes or no?
no. I definitely have not tried the DIY or the box mags as much.
Okay, so
My
out of
play style
all of
is
these-
assault, like just like foot soldier, right? So
So all of these mags, what's your favorite mag to use, boy?
cast blowback mags.
So you're a low cap man. All right,
Yeah.
Mac. What's your favorite mag to use?
Either my PTS mid caps or just a regular G&G Stanag high cap.
Okay, alrighty.
Old faithful.
Now, Poi, does it matter what platform you're using to decide what mag you're gonna use?
Yeah, because AR platform, best platform.
Okay.
Fucking man.
Okay, Mac.
Fucking man.
Does it matter what platform you're using to depend on what kind of mag you're gonna use?
AR platform. Fucking man.
I think we all agree on AR platform. I'm gonna be honest here.
Well, I'm just-
AK
I just don't own- I just
AK
don't
platform
own an AK.
is actually pretty good. AK reloads, fun, right? Takes
Yeah,
some
I
work.
just
They're fun,
don't
they're
own an
fun.
AK.
Okay,
I'm
so-
sorry.
Poi, how many mags do you own, and would you drop a dollar value?
Oh fuck, dude.
Fuck.
Dude, the last time I counted,
Thousand.
it was like 4,500 or something like that on mags alone.
Justin Mags, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Mac, how many mags do you own, and would you drop a dollar value?
Aren't your guys' stuff combined anyway? Don't you have a store?
Basically, yeah. Shush, boy. My own personal mags in my gun bag, I probably have about 12. And the ones split between me and TAC, and then the ones I've lost, I've probably had about 100.
And so that's a no on the dollar value. Alrighty.
I'm not gonna put how many. I don't want to. I don't
Boy.
want to know.
Yeah.
Boy, did your mag loadout change depending on the day?
Oh yeah, no, we were just talking about, because of my injuries and stuff. Right now, recently, because I'm like, 10 years ago, I would have said no to high caps. I don't like that stuff. I like the reloads. I like the reloads are more exhilarating. I like the mid caps because I'm out there reloading. And then moved up to like when I can afford a GBB, then mid caps all the way because like that's the only thing I can use. And reloads all the way for that one too, and the actual bolt locks. I gotta reload. And as I grow older now, I'm just using high caps because I just don't want to bother with reloads, and I just want to go out there and shoot sometimes, right? So it changes. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Mag.
Definitely.
How about you? Does your mag loadout change depending on the day?
Yeah, well, it just depends on what like mood and atmosphere and what setting that I'm trying to play in, I guess. Because like, yeah, it's exactly like Poi's saying. It's all like if you're.
Do you
want to
stack bodies or do you want to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or do I want to stack myself?
All
Right.
right.
Exactly. Like, I know.
All right. Poi, is there one mag be all?
One mag to be all, like for let's say my M4, like AEG.
Yeah. Is there like one that you would recommend to everyone?
So I guess I'll pull this up. Are we doing mag recommendations now? Because I could just pull up a bunch of things. So, one mag that I truly love to use recently. This is recent. It's also a Canadian company. Maple Armories makes really good PMags. I had their first generation PMags, which doesn't have the PMag logo on it. It was just blank and stuff. But for the price you pay, and it feeds properly, and it fits almost every M4 platform there is, they're actually pretty good. And as well as the value you get out of it is great. I bought 15. 15 of these. I think I'm at 20 now. But they are great mags. You could get them at a pretty good price as well from Maple Armory's website. For $80, you get 5 of them. So
okay, well,
that's not a bad price. Another one that I used to use before was the Elite Force magazine. M4, M16, 140 round mid cap. They don't actually hold 140. That's just suggested. Due to years of use, it's gonna be around 120, honestly, to 100. But these have fit all my M4s that I've ever used, and as well as M16 or AR platform series, and they're pretty good for a price. For 10 of them, you get for $90, you get 10 of them. So that's not bad. And in my container, I still have the original box.
Oh. All right.
Yeah. And I mean, honestly, I had King Arms one before. It's hard to find them now. They were the metal mags that I have. I like the metal mags because they have that nice feeling of when you're holding it, or you just throw them around, you hear that clank, right? You could like if you have a helmet, you just bash it on your head, be like, oh yeah, that's metal right there, right? So stuff like that, I recommend just having standard metal mid caps. Other than that, I have plenty of high cap because of the fact that every time you buy a gun, you get a high cap, or someone just gives it to you because they don't want a high cap. So
okay, Mac. Is there one mag to be all for you?
Well, again, the one we use to test all of our problem guns. You never go wrong with like a G&G 450 or 350 high cap mag. Standard. Great.
Okay. All right.
And it seems to fit like every single hop up, which is
I agree with you as well.
That's what I'm
saying.
G&G
like, high cap.
to test guns.
Yeah.
People always come up to us and be all like, "Yo, my gun's not feeding," and it's all like, "Look, man, your gun is like is fine. It's your mags.
Let me
Like, you
let
know,
me
it's
guess.
your
They had a
mags.
G&G mid cap as well.
Yeah. Oh my god. Oh my god. The amount of times I. Oh yeah.
Okay. Poi, what are your opinions on the cost effectiveness of certain mags?
Um, EPM mags, like the one you're talking about,
Yeah, are they worth the craze?
dude, like, do you really need 300 rounds in a mid cap? That's really up to your discretion. Again, being airsoft, you want to be that Chad who has it all. Go for it. I just work on my reloads. I don't give a damn if I'm gonna use, like a 90 round mid cap. I like to keep my rounds at 90 rounds anyway. Um, you just reload fast. That's it. If I lose one of my cheap mags that are like, well, I don't even know, like the cheapest mag I have is like, $11, I think. That's $11, no problem. If I lose a EPM mag, which is what, like 3 times as much as that, $30,
Mm-hmm.
like like there you go. There's $30 right there. So I just tend to use the cheaper ones. I don't care as long as they work and the spring is powerful enough. Then that's fine by me.
All right, Mac, how about yourself?
Pass.
Okay. All right. All right. Next question: is it better to buy new or try to replace pieces of it? Mac.
If it's a small and easy and quick fix, man, then yeah, I'll try and spend my time and fix it. But if it's something that's like, beyond my technical knowledge or something like that, or I can't get any advice or help with it or something, then yeah, and it's irreversible damage or something, then yeah, I'll just buy a new mag.
Poi.
Yeah, that's where it goes back and forth between AEG and then gas too.
For
Okay, Poi.
gas, for
Would you
gas,
buy a new one or replace it?
for gas, because their price starts at least $50, I would try to recover some of it. I have probably 25 gas mags right now with 5 spares that are parts, right? So things break in a gas gun, then I go back to, the broken parts ones that I have and try to recover as much as I can from the one that works. I'll just mix and match it.
Okay.
For AEG mags or just mid caps or anything, I got way too many I don't even bother to repair it sometimes. Sometimes it's just a simple spring issue, so I'll just replace the spring, that's it. But other than that, if it's movie guys using my my magazines, I tend to give them just a high cap, and those things just somehow they come back broken. So that's cool. At least it's a high cap that comes free with the gun.
Okay. Well, for myself, if there are parts readily available, I will repair it. If the parts are not readily available, it's honestly not worth the shipping cost and hassle. So most likely I'll buy something new just because. I think with that, guys, we've gone through our questions, as well as our exhausting 5 category list here of one single topic about mags.
I didn't realize we could extend it this long. I thought it was gonna be an
Hey,
hour's worth.
guys, I can make something stretch forever.
Oh, I bet.
So next episode is Max gonna have ideas, right?
I will try and think of something.
Actually, for the audience, let us know what you want us to cover too. I mean, that's not a problem for us.
I just chose the topic of mags just because it's something that I knew that we could talk about. I know it's something all of us have experience on, could talk about it and stuff like that. If there's anyone in the audience or our viewers that would like to add something to our conversation here, or had any kind of experiences that they themselves could share, we would love to hear it in the comments.
Well, I'd definitely love to take a rewind step back and like maybe go in depth in some more stuff because we definitely have gone in depth on some things, but like yeah, like I mean, I really am liking gear a lot more nowadays. So like and I've changed.
Ooh,
From
is
being,
that gonna be the future episode? Just gear in general for you?
Well, I think it would be really cool if we could kind of go in depth with like why I've transitioned over from like in some situations from like wearing a plate carrier to like rocking a chest rig. It's like, like just like the practicality of it and everything like that. So, and sometimes it's more minimal. Like, I mean, I have all three, right? Like I could get like a fully loaded plate
Yeah.
carrier. I could get it's everything. So yeah, I mean that definitely would be a deep rabbit hole to go down.
You
and
know what?
would
You know
take
what?
us a lot longer.
You know what we did talk about today? We're talking about magazines. Why don't we talk about cool reloads? What kind of cool
I mean,
reloads do you do?
Everyone practices them, right? Yeah, I know. Especially us. I know. Oh my god.
Okay. Well, is there anything else,
Yeah,
Tack, that you
I'm
wanna jump in here with?
I believe that we've gone through everything. Other than everyone just be mindful of the COVID guidelines and stuff like that. Stay within your guys' bubble. Wash your hands. Don't touch your face. And if you do, again, wash yourself and stuff like that.
The fuck, man. Like, say that right when I'm like trying to rub my eyes. Like, yeah.
All right. I think
Okay,
that is
man.
it then.
Like, you're not tired. You're just sick. Like,
That's
thanks,
okay.
Zach,
That's
right?
okay because you washed your hands when you walked through the door.
You guys live together. I don't care. You guys live together.
I don't care at all either. Go.
Other than that, no new news wise for the field.
Just stay safe, everybody.
Stay safe. If you guys are coming again, do your waivers beforehand. Let's us prepare a little bit in advance. Other than that, guys, that has been episode 23 of the Panther Airsoft Folding Table Talk. This week we were talking about mags. Mags go in your guns. You reload mags.
Mags go in my pocket. Okay, that's
Sometimes you read mags.
All right. Well, this is your boy Tack.
And this is your boy Poi.
Mac is tired.
All right. Okay, we'll see you guys on the next episode. Goodbye.
Catch you guys
See you
next time.
guys. Oh my god.